you know, that's what would happen. Somebody would put this on and they'd buy it because they think it's a great colour and they wouldn't see the disaster on their shape.
But also you've got the bulk of the belt, which you could winch in, but then it's going to gather all the fabric.
No, because the double-breasted doesn't do anything.
And then the double-breasted, the two lines here just add to that feeling of rectangularness.
Yes, they do. I think it's time to take it off.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Put something nice on. Okay. You've got a good little coat there. In your ray, shall I help you, darling?
Right. Get out of this. Da, 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 da,
all right, don't make a spectacle of yourself. Just take it off, Susannah. Thank you. All right. It is all about cinching the waist. Whatever you do, you've got to remember that.
Altogether different. Now, I don't even have to do this up. I mean, obviously, anything tight is going to create more of a waist.
Yeah.
But the great thing about this sort of elongated hacking jacket shape is the coat is doing the work for me. I don't have to exercise to create a waist. I just buy a coat that has the waist cut into it. And this does beautifully.
The
here.
way
It
you
just
can
goes
tell,
right in.
exactly, because there's one pleat there, and then if you turn around, Suze, there's 3 pleats in the back here, and that really makes it tight here. So from the back too, darling, I've got to say, you have a waist. It's very nice. And can you do it up, or is your waist too big? Just checking. Go on, go on, try. That is so cinched in, it's like a corset for you.
Yeah, and also because it kicks out there, it's creating that shape.
Okay, something bad now?
Okay.
You know, the only person who could get away with wearing that dress, and even then it was a mystery that she did, is Jackie Onassis, because she had no tits, she had no shape. And the thing is, under there you've got a bit of shape, Suze, but the fact it's just like the top, it just goes from your boobs down, and there's nothing there, look. No, I mean, you are. It's pathetic.
Do you know what?
Yeah?
This makes me feel so depressed wearing this. Because, like the tapered trouser, there are so many women that wear this. And this is kind of like the classic wedding dress. And there is no shape, and it's just such a boring dress. You know, there is nothing that can jazz this dress up. No jewellery, no jacket, no nothing.
Yeah, at weddings people wear it with little jackets, but even then it just does nothing. They don't. They're not shaped or anything. Susannah, the only woman who can wear that dress really is like Mia Farrow in The Great Gatsby. But even then it was a bit dodgy. She was like in her mother's outfit. I think you need to go and look sexy. Go on, go on. Sexy. Come on, you can do it.
Watch my waist appear in this dress. The reason this dress works so well is because it's cut on the bias, so it's clinging around my waist. And this is probably the only dress that suits both of us. I have to say it's not so good for my arms. It looks a bit like a kind of bath hat on top of a rather large mountain of flesh.
Slightly flares out, that's why we can both wear it, because otherwise if it was totally cut on the bias and clung here, it would still be great on you but terrible on me. But the other biggest point in this too is you're wearing the right bra. And so many women, like in that shift dress, first of all, your tits just met your tummy, which is terrible because there was no definition under the boob. But if you were wearing the wrong bra, then, you know, you'd have the same problem again. So it is very important to create the waist that you do have some upholstery as well. Now, what about your next little item?
One charmingly gorgeous double-breasted jacket.
That is not good, Susannah.
I know, it is. I feel like I'm about to be carted away by men in white coats because this is a straight jacket. Quite literally, I am going straight up and down. The buttons are going straight up and down. I'm a board. I'm a plank.
You are, and also just the double buttons there and the fact that there's hardly any seams going in. You've probably got to about 35-inch waist, haven't you?
Yeah, and unfortunately, with the combination of the lack of waist and the boobs, it doesn't make... I mean, even from the side, you just see
nothing.
Straight down, all round.
Okay, what's your alternative?
Tree.
Go on. We can see it, Suze. We can see it.
Beautiful waisted jacket.
Thank God you're out of that other jacket.
This is like having a corset. It's fantastic because, again, the waist is cut into it, but what's even better with this jacket is that it kicks out. There's a kind of peplum. So that is, I'm actually quite narrow here, but it's giving me a bit of bulk, which I don't mind because it's creating such a defined waist.
And it's amazing that it's in tweed and it still does it. It shows the fabric is not important, it's the shape that's key. So, girls, I hope you've learned a little bit about how to throw things out of your wardrobe for your bum and for your waist.
Which part of your body do you least like?
My hips and my stomach.
So they always go hand in hand, hips and stomach, don't they? Which part of the body do you not like?
My stomach.
Why?
Too fat.
Let's have a little look.
It doesn't go in far enough.
You've got a nice waist. Just a bit pudgy there, like me.
Was von seiner Figur ist nicht so gut?
Bauch.
Bauch, stomach.
Okay, stomach.
My stomach, probably.
Why?
Because it should be a little bit flatter.
Hips.
Why is that?
I just would like more of a narrow-shaped hip. Yeah. My stomach.
Really?
It rolls and it's not six-pack and toned.
Stomach.
Why is that?
Because you can't wear hips to trousers because you get a bit oozing over the
So
top.
right.
and-
You know.
Yeah.
Now, whilst a donkey looks a little redundant without saddlebags, I, for one, could certainly do without them.
Whereas it might be comfortable sleeping on a waterbed, it certainly isn't comfortable carrying one with you all day.
But we know something that can be done about that.
Before we pass on our style secrets, make sure you don't fall for one of these balls-ups. What have you got in your pockets? There's sort of like lumps.
This is called a saddlebag, Suze. You might not have it because you might be an up and down chick and just carry your weight on your tits. But I do have that little moment which makes wearing trousers and skirts that are cut on the bias and tops that cut me here a disaster. Total disaster.
I would say that is,
My worst look?
without question, because your legs belong to one of Snow White's small friends.
We're just talking about my top, okay? We can talk about those later.
That long, but that's what the top is doing for you. It's making your legs short and stunted. And because you do have a little bit of kind of padding here, putting it very politely, this is going right across the middle of it. So it's just like it's stretched to its max across here, whereas if it was kind of up a lot higher or even down a bit lower, it would make such a difference.
Yeah, well, I have a top for that, all right? I'm going to put on that one. How much better is that?
So much better.
See, it's the whole thing of balancing out your shoulders and making your shoulders appear broader than your saddlebags. So the emphasis is up here, and the saddlebags just diminish into nothing. It helps that the skirt is a darker colour. But this is really the best thing to do if you have that problem.
But also what it's doing is it's giving you a waist too, as a bonus, because you're going in, you're going out. You're an hourglass now with that top.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, that is a slight exaggeration.
But having it not too long and just going across the middle of your belly works too. And with that skirt, it's a good look.
It is, isn't it?
Put something
Thank
bad
you.
on.
All right. Well, I thought I'd go for the classic tapered pleated trouser. You know, there are so many things wrong with these trousers, I don't know where to start, but I'll just list them very quickly. They're tapered, so your saddlebags look even bigger because the proportion's wrong. They have pleats, so my saddlebags look even broader. I am stretching that material to its most taut place. They have side pockets. It's a killer. The fabric is thin and pale, so everyone who suffers from saddlebags has cellulite. I mean, tell me one woman who you've seen who has saddlebags who doesn't have cellulite. No?
I don't know of any, but you know, you could make it worse.
Yeah, tell me.
You could make it worse by wearing a cardigan like that.
Shall I do that for you?
Yeah, why don't you put that on over the top? Let's
Really
just have a
enhance
quick
it,
look.
shall I? Okay, because this is also the classic.
It's that kind of, you know, really, that's so hitting you just
Look
at the right
that.
level here, across there.
Painful.
And that is a uniform for a lot of women.
I know. And look at the back side here. I mean, that's it. It really, it's cutting it off. But the trousers are probably one of the largest selling trouser in the UK. So retailers are still not listening to us. I mean, totally.
We have
because
been on a
that is-
campaign for a long time. It still hasn't worked. We've just got to keep going.
Yeah, they are the biggest culprit. I'm going to go now for a nice flare.
The difference
It's amazing.
is astonishing
isn't it?
because here, what's making these so ideal is that you've got the flare, you've got the width of fabric here, which is balancing out the bulk of flesh.
Thank you. But
Up
it's
top.
true. It's true. And what it does is it leads the eye down to the ankle, whereas when you had a tapered trouser before like that, you just were led to the saddlebag and you want to kind of lead the eye down to your ankle. Also, there's no fuss here. You know, there's no pockets, there's no pleats. It's quite slimline. They are a little bit tight for me. So if somebody is doing this properly, they'd buy them maybe one size bigger. And just because usually it's then too big up here, so they might be a size 10, but 12 just here. So buy the 12 and take it in at the back of the waist.
And also what I love about a flare, the handiness of a flare, is that you can wear any shoe you want underneath because it covers the shoe and also the height of heels. So normally people with saddlebags do have slightly stunted legs, as in your case. But what you do so cleverly is no one knows you've got such short legs because you always wear a very high heel
under a flare, and the flare skims the ground, so you can't see the heel. It's brilliant. But I'm now going to go on to my worst, most criminal aspect of saddlebaggers, which is when they wear cut on the bias, like